TBH, I'm a little bit salty about it. And don't even get me started on what everybody's eating for every meal, for every day until I die. In my next life, I'm coming back as him. Welcome back to the channel if you're new here. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm Lorianne and I'm so happy that you're spending some time with me today. For today's video, I'm gonna be talking about something that's been heavy on my noggin, to quote Bailey Sarian, and that's things that nobody told me about being the primary parent. And TBH, I'm a little bit salty about it. A little bit salty because I have been going through it lately. And the reason I wanted to sit down and talk about it is because I've gone through enough life and enough things in life at this point to know that I'm never going through anything alone. It may feel like that a lot, but we never truly are. There's always at least one other human on this planet who is going through what you're going through or something very similar. And parenthood is one of those things that just like many people on this earth share the experience of. And so I know I'm not alone in saying that being the primary parent is exhausting a lot of the times. Is it rewarding? Absolutely. But is it also mentally, emotionally, and physically draining? Also, yes. Now, in more recent times on social media, I've seen a lot of people being real and honest about some of the things that they experience in parenthood. It's usually moms, and it's usually framed as like motherhood is hard, right? Motherhood has the ups and downs and is rewarding, but it's draining and it's exhausting, but you love your kids. And the reason I want to say primary parenthood instead of motherhood is because I want to be inclusive to all parents. Not every family looks the same. And while yes, in many families, maybe even most families, mom is the primary parent, but what about the families where dad's the primary parent, or the families that have two dads or two moms, or in families where the parents identify as non-binary? Just want to make sure as primary parents, we're all represented because we share very similar struggles. Whenever it is that you share that you're adding to your family, whether you're trying to get pregnant or you're on an infertility journey or you're adopting or you're currently pregnant or you have a surrogate, but many ways that there are to add to your family. Whenever you share that with people, they always kind of talk to you about you know, how you're not gonna sleep anymore and you're gonna be so tired. They might talk to you about how hard it is for you to like go anywhere because now you have to pack like a whole bunch of bags to go anywhere, even for an hour. They might tell you how rare and precious date nights are because it can be hard to find sitters to watch the kids on a Saturday night. And yes, all of those things are true of having children, but there are so many other things that you deal with, especially as a primary parent, that I feel like people don't talk about as much. And I don't really know why that is. I don't know if it's because they don't want to come off like they're complaining, or if they think that the things that they're struggling with are exclusive to them and they don't realize that like everybody else in their position goes through those things too. I'm not 100% on it, but I think it's really time that we start preparing parents to be and new parents for some of the struggles that they're going to have as the primary parent. And sometimes you're the primary parent because it's the situation that you're in life. Maybe you're a single parent like my mom was. She was the primary parent because my parents divorced when I was 7. So she had no choice but to be the primary caretaker of myself, my brother, and the entire household. You might be the primary parent because maybe you and your partner have decided that you're going to stay home and be with the children while your partner goes out and makes an income for your family. You might become the primary parent just because you fit in the role better than your partner does. I think in relationships, in living situations, I think we all have to do the things that we're good at. I think that's what keeps things moving. We've talked about it on here before, but my husband and I don't really believe in gender roles. We just believe in like each person doing the thing that they're good at. And so you might be good at a lot of the household things and you might have more patience to take care of the kids and to do everything else. And so you might just naturally fall into that role, even though it was never something that was discussed. Hey, your kids might decide that you're the primary parent because you just happen to be the one that they go to for everything. And that might just be how it is. So you can become the primary parent in a variety of ways, really. However you became the primary parent, you likely have or are currently experiencing one, if not more, of the things on this list. Hey there, future editing and dinner making Lorianne here. And as I'm editing this video, I just wanted to make one thing abundantly clear, and that in this video I am in no way, shape, or form bashing anybody who is not the quote-unquote primary parent in their household, in their family. This is me being real and honest about some of the things that we face as primary parents. I think whether you're the primary parent or not, everybody in a family, their role might be different, but it is still crucial and it is still important. It's truly a teamwork makes the dream work situation. This is just me talking about the plight of the primary parent. That's all. All right, now that I said that, let's get back into the video. First thing that nobody really shared with me was the fact that you are almost constantly overstimulated. Now, there are absolutely people who are more easily overstimulated than others. For example, my husband gets way more overstimulated way faster than I do. However, in a moment where I'm trying to concentrate on a simple task and I have my toddler yelling, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," my infant daughter is playing with a toy that is making tons and tons of noise. The TV might be on in the background because it was supposed to be distracting the toddler, who is now no longer distracted and just wants my attention. There are little hands grabbing at my shirt and pulling at me. The dog might be barking at the Amazon delivery, and I am just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'll be honest with you, sometimes I handle those situations better than others, and sometimes I end up apologizing to a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. It just happens. I'm not a perfect mother, I'm not a perfect human. I am learning every day as I go. With all that being said, honestly, the overstimulation is something I had never even thought about. It never even occurred to me. Like, I knew that parenthood wasn't gonna be easy, but you never think that when you're staring at your infant who doesn't speak yet and you're dreaming about the day that they finally say mama, like, you never think that there's gonna be a moment necessarily that you want to turn that off, where you're like, boop, please stop saying my name. But you do, like, you do. Like, there are times where I'm like, please stop calling me. This next one gets me. You know how you've heard people make jokes about mom brain? Well, it's not necessarily mom brain so much as it's primary parent brain. It's the brain of the person that has to be the brains for the whole operation. And I'm talking about the family when I say operation. You're the one that has to remember everybody's doctor's appointments and when they need to go to the doctor, or when they're sick and they need something, you remember everybody's medications or supplements, their allergies, or even just their likes and dislikes. You keep track of when everybody goes to the bathroom and what they eat and what they don't eat and what they can or cannot eat, how much they've eaten in a day, what size diapers they need, do they have diapers, are we potty training, is it too soon, we have to go shopping for sneakers this weekend, this one has no pants anymore, when was the last time I've eaten, did I schedule that appointment to have the dryer ducts clean, is the lawn guy coming today, do I have to move all of the toys off of the grass? And don't even get me started on what everybody's eating for every meal for every day until I die. Like, don't even get me started on the food. It's a lot. My brain constantly feels like an internet browser with like 20 tabs open, and some of them are frozen and some of them have been loading for an eternity, and I forgot what I was searching on this page. It's a mess in here. And I don't know about you, but for me, carrying the mental load of the family is like more physically exhausting than any amount of energy I could exert doing something physical. Like, seriously, it just wears me out. And then there's the next one. Knowing that you need time away from your kids or your family to focus on yourself, self-care, reset yourself, mentally recharge, but you have this fear of being away too long for fear that like everything will fall apart if you're gone too long. I don't spend really long periods of time away from the kids because typically if I'm away like on a weekend or something like that, it's my husband that's home watching the kids. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that sometimes we don't have him around a lot, especially during the week. He's not home until after the kids go to bed. Sometimes I don't even get a full hour with him in the evenings, especially lately. And then sometimes on the weekends he's working too, or he'll be working nights. And so his time is limited. So when he is around, I like to be around with him, with the kids. So I don't spend long periods of time away. Maybe on a Saturday morning, I'll go get my nails done and run to Target. All in all, I'm probably gone 2 hours, maybe 2.5. And when I get back, the house looks like I've been gone for a week. Like, the dishes are piled up. Like, it's just, my husband doesn't multitask the way that I do. And so when his focus is on one thing, it's on one thing. And that means none of the other things get done. Whereas I can do the dishes while I cook something, while I keep my eyes on the kids who are playing in the living room. Like, what, like, I can do all of these things, and he works differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just gives me agita, like, deep in my stomach, to know that I left for 2 hours and now I'm going to have to spend 2 hours cleaning up the mess that was left because I wasn't there to take care of it as it was occurring. Also, we're at a stage with my toddler where he is very attached to me. And so if I spend too much time away from him, when I come back, the attachment is worse because he just doesn't want to let me go for fear that, like, I'm going to leave again for 2 hours. So I really do try to leave when they're napping so that they don't realize that I'm gone. But yeah, that does take away from me taking time to focus on myself. One vlog I did where it was like Mom's Day Off on here, that literally was the only time I've ever had a full, complete, like, morning to evening day away from the kids. Like, it's never happened. It's a couple hours here, a couple hours there, because I'm kind of scared that the whole world will fall apart. Now the next one is that as the primary parent, you're always needed, like always needed. And sometimes you're needed for things that are entirely insignificant. I always joke that Josiah could be playing with Mike and walk away from Mike to find me somewhere in the house to ask me for a knack, as he calls it, which is a snack. He can't say his S's. And I'm like, weren't you just in the living room next to the kitchen with your father? Couldn't you have asked him for a knack? Like, I gotta stop doing laundry to get you a knack. But that's how it is. I'm the one that he has designated as his snack biatch. And so that's my job. That's my job as the primary parent. I could say, go ask daddy, but it's just gonna trigger a temper tantrum, and it's not worth that. You have to pick your battles as a toddler parent at the end of the day. So I go and I get him the snack. When he falls, which happens often, I'm the person that he wants to kiss the boo-boo and to sit with to calm him down. I'm the person that he calls in the middle of the night when he wakes up. I'm the person my baby's eyes nervously dart around the room looking for when she's with strangers. Like, I am always needed. And most of me loves that, okay? I dreamt of that in the days where we were trying to grow our family. I dreamt of that feeling of, I just want to be my baby's everything, and I want to be their comfort and everything. And I love that part so much. That's might be the best part of being the primary parent. But I would be lying that on the days where you're tired, on the days where you're drained and you feel like you don't have a whole lot to give and people are constantly asking of you and needing of you, it's hard. It's hard. You're like, can you just go to somebody else? Can you please just go to your father? Can you please just go to your grandmother? Like, please, I need a break. Now, when I realized this next one, so many more things from my childhood made so much sense to me. And I sympathize with my mother so much more. I remember telling her that I had had this realization, and she was like, now you see how it is. And that's that the primary parent is often not the one considered the fun parent. And it's not because we don't want to be the fun parent. We desperately want to be the fun parent, and we might be really fun people. I think I'm a fun people, but there's so much responsibility involved with being the primary parent. There's so many things to remember that sometimes you've got so much going on that you forget to be the fun parent, or you're in a bad mood because of all of those things, and it doesn't allow you to be the fun parent. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So a couple weeks ago, we had a really like hot weekend. Mike was gonna be home for the day, and my mom called and offered us her pool passes for the community pool where she lives, and she was like, you can come bring the kids. And I thought, great, this will be something for us to do out of the house today as a family. Like, that'll be fun. Except there's so much that goes into bringing a toddler and a baby to a pool in the middle of the day. And so I threw myself together really quick and started packing up all of the bags for the kids. I needed the diaper bag, I needed a spare change of clothes, I needed a formula for the baby, snacks for the toddler, you know, water cups that's insulated, I needed extra waters for us, I needed all of the sunblock, like all of the things, right? And I'm packing up all of that when I realized we don't have swim diapers. So I have to run out and get swim diapers. And then Mike's like, I also need a bathing suit. So now I'm shopping for swim diapers and a bathing suit. I come back, he's still not ready. So while he finishes up, I get the kids ready. And it was just so much going on that by the time we got to the pool, I was exhausted. I was so tired. And it just makes so much more sense now why when I was a kid, I looked at my dad as kind of like the fun, spontaneous parent and my mom as maybe the less fun, everything had a plan, there was like a routine. Like, I understand it now because my mom was that way and she kind of thought of everything for everyone to make sure that everybody had what they needed and were comfortable and were good to go. Because she did all of that planning and prep, my dad was able to be the fun, spontaneous one, but by the time we got to whatever we were doing as a family, she was beat. I get it. I get it. I get it now because I am she is me. We are each other. Sometimes as the primary parent, you're gonna look at your partner or your co-parent and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm envious of you. I often joke with Mike and tell him in my next life, I'm coming back as him. I want to be him. I want his life. I think it's very normal when you're the primary parent and you're kind of the one who's orchestrating everything to look at the other person who maybe gets to sit back and enjoy kind of the fruits of your labor and all of the work that you do and all the planning that you do and be envious and just be like, I want that. I want a day out with the kids where I get to be the fun parent because you figured it all out. Like, it is. Sometimes it's very easy to be envious of that. And I think that's okay to be envious sometimes. I think where you have to be careful is making sure that envy doesn't turn into like resentment. You never want to look at your partner or co-parent and resent them for the role that they have in your family. And I think if you feel yourself like teetering to the edge of that, it's really time to sit down and have a conversation. Honestly, you should have that conversation before then because they're not necessarily going to know what you're struggling with or what you're feeling unless you share that with them. So I say the earlier you share it, the better. And then I feel like the last thing nobody tells you about being a primary parent is that the responsibilities feel endless. Like, there's constantly something to do. It doesn't matter how productive you've been in a day. It doesn't matter how much you feel like you've accomplished. For some reason, it just never feels like you've made a dent in any of the things that you needed to do. It feels like there's always a bottle next to the sink that needs to be washed. It feels like there's always a load of laundry that needs to be done. There's always a toy on the living room floor, even though you literally just cleaned them up 3 minutes ago. It's always time to feed somebody another meal or a snack. Like, it's just never ending. And I'm saying this to you as somebody who is not a perfectionist, who has given up on the idea of having a perfect looking home that's always spotless and ready for company. Like, I'm not that person. I never really have been. So it's not even like me trying to maintain this like unattainable level of perfection. It's just gotten to the point that so often my bare minimum level of like achievement is unattainable. Like, that's how much there is going on any given day that I could barely manage to get enough done to meet the bare minimum. And even with all of those extra struggles and the pain points that come with being the primary parent, I can guarantee you that there is not a single primary parent in this world who would trade that role for anything else. It is, like I said, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. It's still exhausting. We're still allowed to have our moments. We're still allowed to vent and sometimes even complain. We're also still incredibly grateful to be the primary parent, to be the person that our children trust with all of their wants and needs and boo-boo kisses and secrets and stories and all of the things. I'm humbled that my children love me so much that I'm the one that they seek out for comfort snacks and everything else. It's just that sometimes it would be nice to be able to temporarily step back from being the primary parent or to more equally split the parenting and household responsibilities. If you're a primary parent, speak up to your partner or your co-parent and let them know what you're feeling and what you're going through and how they can support you in that. And if you're watching this and you're not the primary parent in your home, maybe this has given you some ideas on how you can support the primary parent in your household and how you can offer up some help. But that's it. That's all I got for you right now. I feel good though. I feel like I got to vent a little bit. I feel like if you're going through something similar, maybe we connected on this level a little bit. I hope so. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You can leave me any questions, comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos from the channel in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.